What's the difference between pricing and underwriting? Because
Between pricing and underwriting. Okay.
yes,
This is good question. But there is, you know, between pricing and underwriting, there is a big word at the end. Because actuaries who are calibrating the risk-based price will stop here. However, to go from the risk-based price to the commercial price, there are a lot and a lot of management rules that are applied. So at the end, the risk price will be completely transformed because of these rules. And these rules are related to multiple things. Are related to the story of the client, using the customer lifetime of this client. They are related to, let's say, marketing, commercial, management action, and reduction, increase of premium, and so on and so forth. All of these rules are set up in one platform. This platform is linked to the underwriter. So the underwriter will use it in order to be able to price the deal. When it comes to the risk-based model, at the end, the JLM or GAM that you know from the PNC pricing, for example, it gives at the end a couple of parameters. Because at the end, what does it mean, a JLM? It's kind of regression. So you will make a kind of approximation of the estimation of the claims using some parameter that comes from the policyholder characteristics, age, sex, type of car, and so on and so forth, and you have a couple of factors in front of each variable. So this factor will be exposed in a matrix. This matrix will be used in the underwriting tool, but it will be transformed because there are a lot of rules between commercial price and risk-based price. In addition to that, there are a lot of things like if you would like to adjust your price regarding the competition, you need to adjust it. It's not a matter of risk price. It's a matter of management rule in between. What is the pain point in this process? The major pain point that we see today with the insurance company is the fact that there is a broken point between the pricing and the underwriting, because the tool that is used by actuaries to calibrate the risk-based price and the tool that is available for underwriter in order to price the deal are disconnected. In between there is a data model, and actuaries are populating the kind of factors pushing it to the new platform and so on. There is no streamlining of the workflow. However, what is most important, is it risk price or the commercial price at the end? My question to you,
commercial.
Hassan.
Yes, the commercial price.
Okay, so in that case, you see, it's really a huge workflow, and actuaries are playing a small role here. If they didn't transform themselves and being able to see outside the risk-based price all the other components, they will lose their strategic place in the insurance company. And it makes for a good transition to the next slide. In fact, just to before switching to the pricing, we have had a huge transformation in the last years due to the fact that data is becoming more and more available. Before, in fact, we are, let's say, doing job in order to understand what has happened. So we look back and we do a kind of calibration saying that the future will looks like the past. So we are all of the time looking back in order to be able to estimate what can happen in the future. After that, we move to having a couple of analyzing in order to see why did it happen. So this is the story of the visualization of data and so on. And after that, we have all the models in order to predict when it will happen in the future. But now we are moving to more sophisticated models that can predict more pattern that we didn't see in the data and so on so far, in order to be able to have a better prediction of the future and going to what we say the intelligent decisioning. Everything is automated, and we have a lot of pertinent model that will use different data, structured and non-structured data, in order to predict a future risk and influence also the future risk, because today it's not only a matter of quantifying the future risk, but also how to influence this future risk. For example, when it comes to the prediction, today, if you have live data for climate risk that you can treat and predict what could happen in the next hours, you can do a kind of prevention by calling your client, asking him to do some action in order to avoid the risk. This will have a direct impact on the combined ratio, on the loss ratio, and so on and so far, that you cannot predict with the current data that you have when you are calibrating your risk model and so on and so far. You see? So now, even live data, telematic data, are really very important to increase our perception of risk. For example, now in car insurance, there is a lot of IoT. You can have what we call the pay how you drive. It means that you are not, let's say, seeing the history. You have a kind of risk premium that will be flat. However, this risk premium can be transformed regarding your way of driving the car or your behavior. So all of these things was not possible on the past, because of the fact that this data we cannot collect it. Same thing when it comes to climate risk. Same thing when it comes also to health risk. Health risk, for example, the way you live, what is your lifestyle. You collect health data. This can give you more information about the risk and can give you the possibility to make some prevention action in order to reduce the total cost that you could expect. In fact, it's very good to understand the way how it works, but what is most important is to know how to play it in the real life. This is what we see with this slide, okay? So what you see here is the value chain in the insurance company. You stay by marketing, sales, segmentation and pricing, offer and underwriting, CRM and customer services, cost optimization in terms of operation, claims management, portfolio monitoring in order to take the right decision. However, in each step, there are multiple use cases in which AI and data can play a role. For example, let's start by marketing and sales. The fact that being able to target potential client using, for example, demographic and behavioral data to identify the most interested and interesting prospect. This is one of the things in which you can collect media data, market data, and so on and so far in order to predict what kind of type of service will be needed in the future, what type of client you need to address, and so on and so far, and also understanding the behavior of your customer. This can be also exponentiated through data and AI. The same thing when it comes to the segmentation, using in fact the data and more deep, let's say, more granular data that comes from your portfolio, but also that could come from the industry, that could come from the market, and so on and so far, can enable you to be able to analyze the customer data, doing segmentation, being able to have a kind of profiling of the risk, and so on and so far, in order to influence the decision when it comes to the underwriting. In the underwriting, when it comes to your in-force business, or the business that will be in renewal, you know your client, so you can apply the next best action for him. Either premium reduction, premium increase, or completely, let's say, cancel the contract and so on if it is a bad risk. However, when it comes to enforce business, a new business, you need to have done, in fact, a granular segmentation in order to understand what type of new business you will receive and being able to, let's say, influence the underwriting decision by having the information is that this new business is good or not with the scoring and so on and so forth. The same thing when it comes to, let's say, PNC engagement with climate risk and so on so far. You can know very well with the live data where is the risk exposure, how you are exposed to the risk today, manage the concentration and so on. The same thing in the other steps. Claims management can be powered by AI in terms of treatment of the claims itself, in terms of automation, in terms of fraud detection and so on and so forth. Portfolio monitoring is also very important in order to know the concentration of your portfolio, to manage the right decision in terms of underwriting and pricing. Also, this is very important. So all of this can be powered and exponentiated by data and AI, which was not the case before. So now you should know that any company who has not in his strategic roadmap the adoption of AI, Gen AI, and big data, they will lose in competitivity in the future. This is really key. So now the actuaries needs to have more capabilities than before. If they would like to have their good positioning in the insurance and reinsurance company, they need to have the skills on data sciences. So however, they need to understand how it works. They don't need to be a real data scientist because technology could bring to them all of this functionality with drag and drop. No need to be able to calibrate complex models and so on. You need to understand concepts, understand how to set up the algorithm, and understand where to use each algorithm. When it comes to use it of random forest or gradient boosting or so on and so forth, you need to be able to understand what is behind the model and what will be the right thing to use when you are facing an issue that needs to use data science. You need also to be able to be familiar with the different technologies. So technology in terms of, we speak about machine learning is linked to the data science, but in terms of actuarial modeling platform, I said today, in fact, the famous one are when it comes to life modeling, you will have risk agility financial model or profit from fees. When it comes to PNC, we'll have rescue, igloo, emblem, and so on. This is niche player. However, the future tomorrow is not on this area. It's more in the platform like Databricks, DataIQ, Palantir, Alteryx, and so on. Predictive modeling is also the same thing. And this will be used where? Risk valuation, product knowledge, and also the fact that you will detect multiple opportunity and enhance your scope of intervention. This is what we called business insight. So you will be the number one of the insurance and reinsurance company because you manage all of these things. You have the functional knowledge, you have the technical knowledge, and you know how to use technology and data science. This is really key for you guys if you would like to project yourself in the future. So really quickly, this is the price if you do the transformation using AI and Gen AI and adopting new technology in the ecosystem. You will have a lot of win. For example, when it comes to fraud detection and so on, it can improve by 3% the combined ratio. When it comes to beta monitoring the risk, it can bring you between 1.6 2.4 of combined ratio and so on and so forth. So there are a lot of things you see based on 1 billion operating basis. You can win between 10 to 21% of revenue increase and cost reduction if you adopt the new technology. You see the potential? So when it comes to AI, this is really important. If you see classical statistics, what we are doing when it comes to exploring data, at the end, in fact, we could, if you take the example of GLM with 3 variable, it can be understandable. GLM with 4 variable also, but when it comes to GLM with 10, 15, 20 variable, it will be nightmare to understand. However, new techniques like machine learning, random forest, and so on so far can explore a lot of patterns in the data and giving you better prediction of your model. This is really key. So AI can, let's say, sense, comprehend, and also act. What does it mean? With RPA, robotic process automation, you can collect automatically the data, you can see the different pattern, and you can act. Everything in the one workflow. You see the old workflow how it was, you collect data, you transform it, you build your model, you see your results, and you transfer your result to another team, and so on and so forth. A lot of breaking point in the process. Now all of these things can be really industrialized. So if we industrialize everything and the technology will be so intelligent to understand the different patterns and so on, what will be your role in that case? Let's say you will be key in this process or not. Est-ce que عندكم خوف من المستقبل regarding the technology or not? And you feel comfortable that you will remain the major actors in the future. If I tell you that data will be collected automatically, models will be set up and calibrated automatically with more precision, because you will play with different models, you will see what will be the most accurate one. You will, not you, the technology can proceed to that. You can industrialize everything, and at the end you can make a decision. If you take, for example, a decision of underwriting, so it means the technology will collect data, calibrate the risk, and so on and so far, and tell to the underwriter, this is a good risk, you could apply this kind of a reduction of the premium, and this will be the total premium that you need to apply. The underwriter will click in the bottom. The contract is set up, signature is done automatically, and everything is industrialized. And after that, the client is requesting a claim. The claims is coming automatically. You can open the claims, evaluate it, reserve will be computed, and so on and so far, and everything in industrialized way. What will be the role of actuaries in that case?
To operate the system, to manage it and look exactly how the
We have
Yeah, I
engineer
mean,
for that. هو الحقيقة هذه كل التكنولوجيات يعني الجديدة is something on the service of the actuary. The actuary should positionate himself on top of all of that in order to be the first business partner. You need to understand the way the technology is working in order to apply it to the right use case. And by the way, you will be the number one in the company because you have the ability to understand the technology, to know where to use it, to operate it, and to act with it. And it will exponentiate you in a level that you will never think about. That's why it's really important for you to take the technology as enabler for you and to be aware about any evolution for that, because today things are going quickly, guys, really quickly. When it comes to the potential of Gen AI, for example, things are going very quickly.
وحاليا في appointed actuary، فإذا صار في خطأ أو مستيك اللي هو بيتحمل خطأ. خلينا خلينا نفترض إن حاليا اللي هو
ما فيش خطأ.
لا هو بيستوي في خطأ في النهاية يعني. فما يمديك اللي هو تحط الحمولة كلها على اللي هو ال AI.
لا ما بدك هو في responsible AI at the end in fact algorithm are not responsible. It's the people who own this algorithm and who operate this algorithm that will have the responsibility at the end. You see, this is why
بس
my Mm.
اللي هو الشخص اللي سوى الاي اي اللي هو نفس حاليا شات جي بي تي، حاليا هو قاعد يتطور من نفسه، بس لما انت تسال الشخص اللي سواه عن الريزولت اللي طلعت، يعني هل هو فاهمها؟ ما اتوقع، لان هو الموديل نفسه قاعد يتطور من نفسه يعني.
Yeah, this is the let's say also one of the point. In fact, when it comes, as I said from the beginning, when you are in the insurance industry, things will be regulated. Even the usage of AI, there is a regulation on top of that which called responsible AI or the AI Act. You need to be aware about that because there are a kind of governance standard that needs to be followed and responsibility and so on so far. So this is also an area in which you can have your role to play. But in general, in fact, don't be afraid from the technology. You will be the number one in the insurance company if you had in mind that technology is an enabler for you. You need to follow it and you need to manage it.